What's happening, people? I'm Heather, and I'm here today to talk to you about all things breastfeeding. Tips, tricks, products to help you stay sane and hopefully have an easier time while you're breastfeeding, because breastfeeding can be hard, being responsible for a person's nutrition, solely responsible. So my biggest advice is just to know that the first 1 to 2 weeks are going to be hard. After that, it gets easier, and it's actually more convenient than bottle feeding. After that, after you kind of get over that initial hump, the baby learns how to latch, you are comfortable, everything like that. So my first advice is to take a breastfeeding class while you are pregnant, and just to kind of get familiar with what the process is going to be, because a lot of people will tell you that breastfeeding is just natural and your baby knows how to do it, you know how to do it. I don't think that's true, and I think a lot of women would agree with me. So my next advice is kind of similar to the breastfeeding class, but whenever you have the baby and start breastfeeding, go see a lactation consultant. I saw a lactation consultant with both of my kids, and they helped my sanity tremendously, helped me get the baby to latch, reassured me that the baby was getting enough. We did weighted feeds where they weighed the baby before and after, and then told me how much the baby was eating. And this was covered by my insurance both times. Both times I had different insurance, and both times it was covered. I would suggest going to see the lactation consultant within the first few days after you deliver. A lot of times you can call them and get them to come up to the hospital. One of them this last time came to my house, which was really nice, but a lactation consultant is not the same thing as the lactation nurse that you see in the hospital. Another thing to know, whenever you get home from the hospital or as soon as you have the baby, you will not be making your regular breast milk immediately. You will be making something called colostrum, which is very nutrient dense, very good for the baby. If you only breastfeed for 3 days and give them that colostrum, I mean, that's great. That's something that's really good. Usually between day 2 and 5 postpartum, your regular milk comes in. My next piece of advice, which I did not start doing until the second baby, is to quit worrying about people seeing your boobs. You've got to feed the kid. No baby that I have ever met likes a nursing cover over them, covering them up while you're eating. What I will do is I will wear a nursing tank top under my shirt, and then wear a regular shirt, pull the shirt up, pull the tank top down, and put the baby on, and then not cover them up at all, because they hate it. And you know what? I've got to feed this kid. So my favorite product for breastfeeding is a Haakaa. I've got 2 different ones. I've got this kind of little one that doesn't have anything on top to hold the milk in, and then I have this one that has the flat bottom and it suctions, and it came with this little flower so that if it falls over, it doesn't all pour out. It still spills some, but it's not a whole Haakaa full of breast milk on the floor, so that helps. So what these do is whenever your baby is eating on one breast and your milk lets down and like your milk releases so that the baby can eat, it's going to let down on both boobs. So what I do is I take a Haakaa on the boob that the baby is not eating off of, and put that on my other one, and that catches the milk on the other one that would have been wasted all over my shirt, breast pad, burnt cloth, wherever. And it also keeps me from having to use so many breast pads and for my shirt getting soaked. So that's nice. I'm also going to show you how to put the Haakaa on your boob, because it can be a little bit of a learning curve, and I was doing it wrong with my first baby, and a friend came over and showed me how to do it so that it would actually stay on my boob and not fall. So to keep you from having to see my boobs today, I'm going to use this little bowl to show you how to do it. So the mistake that I made when I first had my baby was that I just squeezed it to make like suction and put it on there and let it go. Now it holds on there. As this fills up with milk, it loses suction and it would just fall off all the time if I wasn't watching it. What you're actually supposed to do is do it down like this, squeeze it, put it on your boob, put that part over top, and then it's obviously not doing as good because this is not a real boob, but it will hold suction better and not fall off as much. These from the Haakaa brand, they are called Ladybugs, and you just kind of press in on it and put it on your boob and let it go, and just make sure that this part is not pressing against your nipple, because that'll hold milk in and be uncomfortable and rub your nipple. But you can put these in your nursing bra, and in the beginning you are constantly leaking, and these will catch that milk and keep your shirt dry, and also you can save it, and this thing comes off and you can pour it in a little bottle and keep your milk. So that's nice. If you're going to put all that effort into making all this milk, you might as well keep it. Now, if you are saving your milk, if you're using the Haakaa or Ladybug or pumping or whatever, you are going to need breast milk bottles to store it. I like these Medela ones. They are really good size. They don't leak. I can put them directly in the bottle warmer if I want to warm. My favorite breast milk bags are also the Medela. These do not leak. They're very sturdy. If you do use breast milk bags, do not use these lines to measure them. These are useless. There's no need for these lines. They're never great. Pick what kind of bottle you want to use to get your measurement off of, and say you fill this up, you've got 5 ounces, go off of this bottle. This is never right. It's never right. I really like the Even Flow breast milk bags, just because they had like very encouraging little phrases on them, like, you're doing good, keep it up. And when you tear them, they tear diagonally, so it makes the milk really easy to pour. But those constantly leaked on me, so I couldn't use them. And one more thing to know, when you're thawing these in the fridge, thaw them upright. So put them in like a big cup or a plastic container or something, so they thaw upright, so that they don't leak as much. Don't put warm breast milk in this and then put it in the freezer, because if you put it up against another bag, it might start thawing out that already frozen bag, because this is warm. So if you put breast milk in here and it's hot, put it in the fridge first, and then after it's cooled down, you can freeze it. Something else that's very necessary while you're breastfeeding is this Boppy, because you don't have enough hands to breastfeed a newborn. Nobody does. And this, you put it around your waist, and it helps to get the baby like up to your boob, so that you don't have to hold them up. Because if you're even like a little 7-pound baby, it's so awkward to try to hold them up to your boob, where if you have that they can rest on. And when they're really little and new, I put a pillow underneath the Boppy to get them even better supported. So that's nice. And take that sucker to the hospital with you when you go to have your baby, because it is very useful and you will want it. Another thing that apparently everyone does not know when they're having a baby is you are going to leak. Even if you're not breastfeeding, you might leak. So you're going to need to invest in some breast pads so that your shirt's not soaking wet. I like these reusable breast pads that I got off of Amazon, and I just throw them in the wash, and they come in this little bag, and they come with a little bitty wet dry bag to put them in when you're out in public. So I use those. If I'm going to use a reusable breast pad, I like these. This brand is Lanchino. I don't know. I don't have the box, I'm sorry. But these just open, and they have got stickers on the back, so you can stick them to your bra so they stay in place, because the reusable ones don't always stay in place. That is one thing about those. My next advice while breastfeeding, and this is a big one, is to stay hydrated. I have a water bottle everywhere in the house. I have a water bottle in the baby's room. I have a water bottle where I feed her in the recliner. I have a water bottle by the glider in my room, like by my bed, if I feed her in there. Because as soon as that baby latches, you will get so thirsty, like you have been in the desert for days without any water. Also, you need to stay hydrated to keep your milk supply up. One other thing to consider while you are breastfeeding is that anytime that your baby is eating, you need to pump. So if you are away from your baby and your baby has a bottle, then you need to pump to keep up your milk supply. That's something that everyone doesn't realize if you've never breastfed before. A couple more products that I like are this Mother Love Nipple Cream. It's really good. Some other brands are a little like tacky, and it makes your nipples stick to the breast pad, and it hurts when your nipples are already sensitive. So I will use this, or you can squeeze a little bit of breast milk out and put that on your nipple. and that works too. One more thing I like are these Mommy's Bliss vitamin D drops. A lot of times if you're breastfeeding, your pediatrician will have you give the baby a vitamin D drop every day, and I really like these. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope this makes your life easier and your breastfeeding journey easier. These are just things that people told me whenever I was a new mom, or things I wish people had told me when I was a new mom and coming home from the hospital. And I hope it helps. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and I would love to help you. Thanks.